All right, guys, welcome back to day number 7 of the Fit Chick Project. Now, today I've got on a very special guest. She is not a CrossFitter. However, she is one of the world's top athletes. It's just she happens to be from the bodybuilding world. My good friend Dani Reardon has made one of the biggest shifts I've ever seen in the fitness industry. She is a seasoned women's physique pro bodybuilding athlete, having placed second in the 2016 Olympia. Now, for those of you guys that don't know much about the bodybuilding world, the Olympia is basically like the CrossFit Games for bodybuilding, except imagine it's 100 times bigger than the CrossFit Games. That's how hard it is to get to the Olympia. That's even how hard it is to stand on stage at the Olympia, okay? So needless to say, it requires an extreme amount of discipline and dedication to stand on that podium that Dani stood on. And nobody knows the discipline more than Dani, as she's been competing in the bodybuilding world since the age of 15. She never knew what a life with freedom looked like. For 15 years, she was tied to very strict meal plans, long and monotonous gym sessions, and a repetitive routine with very little variety. If anyone knows about this discipline with food in the gym, it's this girl. And in this interview, Dani confidently says, nothing in me wants to go back to the gym right now. Nothing excites me about the gym right now. And it feels so good to be okay with that. That is super cool. And so I am super excited to bring her on today to share her story with all of you and the lessons that she has learned over the years in relationship to food, exercise, and happiness. This interview is so insightful and so inspiring. Some of my favorite items from this interview are, 1, how a psychedelic trip led another pro athlete to realize what she actually wanted out of life. 2, the withdrawals that she had to go through in order to let go of her old obsessive dieting mentality and step into a life with more peace and freedom around food and gym. 3, why yoga was her saving grace to loving fitness again. 4, how not being obsessed with the gym has given her so much more control around food. 5, why a vegan diet has made her look at food so much differently. Number 6, why she doesn't count or track her food. 7, her one piece of advice for women that are wanting to wake up and live a life with more peace and freedom around food and gym. You can follow Dani's journey on Instagram and check her out, work with her as a coach by clicking the links below. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this show. Let me know what you guys learned, and I hope you enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the show, guys. Today we have on Dani Reardon. Dani, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm also very excited to be here.
Oh, girl, you're like somebody I really wanted to have on this show because I don't think anybody's made such a transformational sort of transition, I guess you can call it, because like you guys heard in the intro, Dani is a former bodybuilding pro. And actually, Dani, why don't you go ahead and describe like what was how long did you spend in bodybuilding? And then what was your peak placement in the Olympia?
Okay. So I originally started competing when I was 15. So I was in high school, and my high school, they put on like a bodybuilding show for the athletes. And that was like my first taste into it. So like 15, 16, and then like junior year, senior year, I won the overall. And I was like, okay, maybe we're onto something. And then by 19, I was in the NPC. So like the adult ranks. And then 19 to 27 was when I quit. 26, I would say, was like the peak of my career. So that was where I was awarded second place at the Olympia and the Arnold. And that was a big, huge year for me because both of those are international, like world shows. So I was, oh my God, yeah, like I get goosebumps even still thinking about it.
So crazy. Dani was like, so I was going through bodybuilding when you were I think I watched you, like I got into bodybuilding the year before you won second place, because I was like, me and Tommy were like, go Dani, because you were putting out the YouTube videos, and I just loved you. And I of course, like I was like, who's Dani's coach? And I like tried to get, work with your coach, and like they were crazy expensive, so I couldn't work with them. But anyways, guys, like I just want you to know that the Olympia is like the CrossFit Games
but on a way bigger scale, because I think there's just way more, it takes a lot more to get there. And she got second place at the Olympia. And then like kind of I think the year before, was that third did you get, or what was the year before?
Yeah, fourth, my first time at the
Fourth.
Olympia. Oh my God, it was such a crazy. So I got fourth, then I got second, and then I got sixth.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know you were competing since age 15. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. In high school, it was, and I didn't really know. I mean, my first show, I had a Gatorade chugging contest with the football players at lunch. And then, like, later that night, got on stage, and I was also cheerleading. So I love to perform. So, like,
Uh-huh.
I didn't understand the water, the training, the diet. And then I started to, like, pack my own lunches. I got my, I would bring my protein and my rice cakes and peanut butter, and I was 16. I thought I was doing, I was
Oh
doing
my
what I
God.
knew. So it was really transformative though. Like it really molded me into who I am today. So even though I started young, sacrificed a lot, like I went through college and I was climbing the ranks in bodybuilding. So, there was never any football games, there was never tailgating, there wasn't any, but I never missed out. It was a sacrifice, but I never ever once thought that I was missing out. So it was cool
Right.
starting young. Yeah.
Do you think that you were missing out now, though, knowing what you know now and what you have now?
No,
No.
because I was no, because I learned so much. And for me, I'm very extreme. So had I gotten into the football party scene, that also had the ability to go very extreme for me. So bodybuilding kind of saved me in a way. Like it kept me like on the straight and arrow. And even though there was like a couple month off season where I was a little bit off leash, like come back, um, it having a show every couple months really helped to keep me in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is some crazy ass discipline starting from age 15. Like measuring your food and stuff like that. That's crazy. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So when did you actually retire? So when did you pull the plug on competing?
2000 and I think 17. Well, so Olympia was September 2017. And then I went through like massive changes. I went vegan. I got married within 2 months of after the Olympia. And I was still like, I'm going to compete. I'm going to keep going for this. And then maybe I was getting ready for the Arnold, which was in March. So somewhere in between November, like December, like right in that next year. So I would say like 2017, 2018, I was just like, I want to be, so I quit my sponsorships and that felt really good. And like, they weren't like, I have nothing bad to say about the company. I'm just not a good sponsored athlete. It's me, it's not them. So like, that was like my first like letting go. And I was like, wow, that feels great. And then I kind of like was like, oh, I'm not going to compete at the Arnold. And for me, for about a year, maybe a year and a half, I could not say I was not bodybuilding out loud. I didn't say it. I was like, no, 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 I'm just taking a break. I'm not ready yet. But in my heart,
Right.
oh my God, the day I sent my suit back, I will never forget because I pulled out of the Arnold and I was just going to like keep going and like try to compete and do whatever. But I remember the moment sending my suit back and I named my suit Gaia, which is the Mother Earth, great. So I was going through this big earthy vegan transition. And I sent back the suit and like I'll never forget that moment. And in that moment I hadn't officially quit yet, but like I felt like I knew that was going to be like the last suit I had in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what you've kind of always been a little earthy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so what sort of prompted you in 2017? What were the changes? Like what was the transition? Like what made you kind of want to let go? And yeah, what kind of caused you to do that?
Um so I don't know how much I could say. I had a psychedelic trip. That was like
Okay.
the beginning of it. And it
You
was
can
and it well,
totally say that.
I could totally say, okay.
Yeah.
So I had a mushroom trip and what it did was it took my blinders off. And I was like this bodybuilding. I will be on that stage till I am 80 years old. Nothing is going to get in my way. And then all of a sudden the blinders came off and I was like, holy shit. There's a whole other world out here that I haven't even looked at, I haven't even seen. And I felt like, all right, like I was like, so I had a vision during my trip, and I had a picture of me and my husband. We were behind like Mount Fiji or in front of it, like taking it like we were traveling. And then my next thought was like, I have to get up in the morning and do cardio.
Yeah.
And I was just like, again, like more cardio again. And like I had been traveling
Right.
a lot for bodybuilding, but it was one hotel to the next. Like, yeah, I was in Texas, but I wasn't doing anything in Texas. I was going from the hotel to the stage back to the hotel. Um, and so I saw that there was like a whole other world. And then that was my first, I remember looking at myself in the mirror, and it was so crazy. You know, those like mirrors that you look at and it goes on forever. Like it's just like an optical illusion or whatever. I looked into my own eyes, and it was like that. Like the reflection went on forever. And I was asking myself, I was like, what do you want? Like, what do you want right now? And I wanted to go plant-based, and I wanted to not post for my sponsors anymore, and I wanted to not nickel and dime my people, and I wanted to travel. And so like I said, the first letting go was the sponsors, and that felt really good. And I was like, oh, okay, what else can I let go of? And the two words that kept like circulating in my head were peace and freedom.
Mm. Oh my God. I can totally relate to that.
Yeah. Peace and freedom. And like with bodybuilding, and I'm sure with CrossFit, it's you're always thinking. You're like, how much food did I eat? How much water did I eat? How much cardio did I do today? Who's competing at this show? How many weeks out am I? Did I train good today? What is my coach? Like it was just fucking constant. And not negative self-talk, but it was like, what do I need to do next to get where I need to go? And it was always on.
Right.
Even when
Right.
I was cheating on my diet, I was feeling guilty and I was on.
Right.
And yeah, and so peace to me looked like none of that, not counting my
Yeah.
water, not counting my macros, and freedom
Mm.
also. And like to be in a world where I thought I was peaceful. Like people would see me on the stepper absolutely killing it. And I
Uh-huh.
remember this older gentleman saying, I've never seen somebody so at peace on the stepper. And I was totally transcending, wasn't even in my body. So I'm glad he picked up on that. But as a whole, I was not peaceful.
Because it was still forced. It was something I had to do, right?
Yeah, at the end there it was like I loved it. Like there was a time where there was no work being done. As hard as I was working, it was never ever work. It was like
Mm.
effort. It was energy
Mm-hmm.
towards my goal. It was never like work. So I never noticed how hard I was dieting or how disciplined I was. It was never like a thought. It was just what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end where I started to like experiment with psychedelics, think about going vegan, I started to see this whole other world and this whole other side of myself that I had yet to explore. Like there's so
Mm-hmm.
much out there, right? That like doesn't need to be taken up 3 hours in a gym every single day.
Mm-hmm. I mean, your whole
So
life revolves around it. The gym, the food, the
everything.
whole, yeah. And so you wanted peace and freedom. How did that journey begin? So you quit the sponsors, that gave you some peace and freedom. We went vegan, so you're kind of just following your natural instinct. And then how did the transition in the gym? How did you start to create peace and freedom in the gym with your body
Oh, that's a good question.
and
Um,
diet?
God, I didn't even go to the gym. Can I be honest? I had like
Okay.
PTSD. I couldn't even go into the gym for like my same gym that built me for since I moved to Orlando. So it was probably like a 9-year journey in the same gym. And when I quit, we also moved across the city. Um, and I didn't really go. I mean, we went like once in a while just to be like we need to do something. But like I would walk outside. I started doing yoga here and there, but there was a part of me that was really rebellious, and I was and almost like really sad. Like I would go into the gym and I would see girls on the stair stepper, or on the spin bike, on
Yeah.
the things that I used to do cardio, where I left my heart and soul on this piece of machine.
Yeah.
I would see them on there and it would really upset me. Like my eyes would well up, I would shake, I would like I cannot even explain it. So, with the gym, it was almost like I had to take a hiatus and I had to heal from it. And I almost had to let my body get really unhealthy to appreciate it, like to go back to the gym for health. I've never like I said, I started training when I was 15, 4 shows for weightlifting for some sort of purpose. I've never been to the gym just because it's a healthy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge learning lesson. Like, I still think I'm kind of learning that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because it was always like, what day, training day, and it was hard for me to go into the gym to be healthy. So I had to almost get my body like kind of unhealthy to appreciate what it felt like to be healthy and to work out without going to the extreme, and like also liking my body without shoulder caps and without huge quads and without abs. Like, I never knew my body like that, especially as an adult. I was 15 to 27, like really focused on my physical appearance so much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, there's so much more to a person. So I almost had to like let go of the physical appearance and like really just like, I almost looked like I had never been on stage. Like, I would look at myself in the mirror and be like, do you even, like, this is, you need to do something. But that was really helpful and healing for me to see my body in that state and to also accept it in that state. And now I can move forward healthy and build a little bit of shoulders and build my butt back up and do these things from that state of acceptance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the contrast. You appreciate it and it helps you find that middle ground, right? Because you've seen the extreme of one way, and then maybe, maybe not so extreme of like letting go, but letting go, and then
Yeah.
finding where your groove is. And so where would you, so would you say you're kind of like, you're sort of finding that balance right now?
Totally. I'm way better. I'm way uh more at peace with it. Like it, and oh my gosh, and like I found yoga. So like yoga, I found about a year and a half ago, like seriously, like I got a free month. So when we moved to Colorado, about a year and a half ago, I was broken, naked, just a shell, and I was on the brink of a divorce. We had zero money. We had no jobs. So before we moved, we sold health insurance. So in between, I quit bodybuilding and we tried to sell health insurance because my friends were making a lot of money, and we had a wedding to pay off. We had an Olympia to pay off. So we went there. We made no money. We were putting rent on credit cards, and we were like, all right, we need to start everything over. So we moved to Colorado a year and a half ago. And I started personal training, doing stuff like that, finding my footing, and then I found yoga. My sister gave me a free month over here at Core Power, which is like I could throw a football and hit the studio. So I went, and that was the first time I had been back in my body. Like, I could feel my muscles doing what they were supposed to do. In chair pose, I could actually activate my legs again and start to build that proprioception. And I lost that because I wasn't working out.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and then to do like a chaturanga or like a push up, like I could feel my back contracting, and I was like, oh my God, I'm back in my body. This is amazing.
Oh,
And it was
cool.
a hot room. So I felt like I was back in my hoodie, and there was a crazy spiritual connection. And I was like, oh my God,
Mm.
mind, body, spirit again. And when I lost bodybuilding, when I quit, I lost my mind, body, spirit connection, which scared the shit out of me because I, my mind, body connection, I could get back, but my spirit, my bodybuilding was my spiritual training. And I will preach that till the day I die because it helped me connect to believing in something bigger than myself. It helped me connect into believing in myself. I transcended. I learned to meditate. I learned to visualize. And when I started doing yoga, that happened again. I found that spiritual center. I found like the belief and the trust, and then the 8 limb path, and like I just geek out about it now. And it's so much more spiritual than I ever was before. And there's no competition. There's no like pain. There's no any of that. So when I found yoga for me, I was like, oh, this is it. And I didn't think after I left bodybuilding that I would find that excitement
Mm-hmm.
and that connection again.
Mm-hmm. And so what does your new fitness routine look like now then?
Okay, so I got a mountain bike.
Okay.
And that's been really exciting because I haven't had a bike since I was probably 7. So let me just tell you, finding a bike as a kid is great, but finding it as an adult is way better. So we did like a 30-mile bike ride to Boulder, or 15 there, 15 back. My butt is so still sore. Um, I'll walk outside, walk around we have a lake over here, and I do lots of yoga. And there's like, um, and now I'm doing handstands. So I'm getting much more into my body, but functionally,
Okay.
and like nothing in me wants to go to the gym. Like
Okay.
nothing in me. And that's tough though, because I get under the bar, I do bicep curls, and my body knows this. It's like, I'm short and stocky. So it's good for lifting things, but, nothing excites me about going into the gym right now. Like I want to do everything in my power to be super fit out. of the gym.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. And so, um, did you, because I feel like I've seen you actually, so feel like I've seen you actually in the gym. Did you, I thought every once in a while. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and so you're doing yoga every day. And so just kind of doing like outdoor activities, whatever feels good. It sounds like you're just kind of following your heart more than anything.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like being, oh my God, and being out. So the reason why I moved to Colorado was like nature. So I was in Florida, and Florida's great. You can go swimming. There's a bunch of lush palm trees and things like that. But like, you really don't want to be out on your bike. You
Mm-hmm.
melt off of the damn thing. And it's just not conducive for like outdoor activities. So part of me moving to Colorado was like, I need to be outside. And part of the mushroom trip situation was my connection to nature is I'm so incredibly thankful for it every single day. Even just breathing the air, like I'll open my window and breathe the air in, and I'm like, oh, yes, yes. But that's not to go without saying that I won't go back to the gym because it is like in my blood, I feel like. And we have a gym like 2 miles away. So, and it does feel good to do squats and build your muscles again and use them in that way. But like, I would love to go 3 times a week
Mm-hmm.
maximum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think that's the problem is almost setting up an expectation, right? That it has to be 3 times or 5 times, or I've got to go and it's got to be 20 minutes or an hour, right? It's almost like, I think if you just take all that down and you just go in and like literally just like, okay, like just go in for 15 minutes, you know, like, and that will re-spark it. You know, I think that those expectations tend to make us see like it's a burden, like
Mm-hmm.
some mountain to climb.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I've noticed too. Yeah. So how's your diet changed?
Oh my gosh, night and day. And it's been really fun to not focus on food so much. And so, okay, so when I quit, it was a very dramatic parting ways with meat. It was backstage at the Olympia. I took all of my meat containers, the ground beef, the chicken, the turkey, and I threw it all out. And that was the last bite of meat
Backstage.
backstage at the Olympia because before I competed, I was like, hey, coach, I want to go vegan. Can we do this vegan? And I was 8 weeks out, and he's like, listen, Dani, you got the biggest show of your life coming up because I got
Right.
second the year before. So I was like, I want to fucking win this thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, you got the biggest show of your life coming up. Can we just deal with this for the Arnold's? And I was like, deal.
Yeah.
And so backstage, I was like, goodbye. And because it was something that was on my heart and just, the compassion thing went off. And that's all that mattered to me. That's the only thing I could see. And
Mm,
I really couldn't the thought of harming something to feed my body was just like not okay with me. Um, and that's made it really easy to stay away from meat. Is like that idea.
mm,
Like I didn't do it to be healthier. I didn't do it
mm.
for any other reason other than that. So that made it really easy for me. So yeah, threw out all my stuff backstage, and then I just figured it out. And oh my God. And then I actually just did an interview on my podcast with Fraser Bailey, Evolving Alpha, who helped me transition from meat diet to plant-based, and he was helping me get ready for the Arnold. And so and everything was working. Like my muscles were coming out. It looked like I was getting ready for the Olympia. Like really, honestly, not much was changing. My body did have to go through a sort of like an acclimation period where it was a little bit more inflamed and like trying to figure out what I was feeding it. But like
Mhm.
my abs were coming out. I was getting conditioned. My muscles were popping just the same. My pumps were actually better
Mm,
because the arginine and stuff like that in plants.
mm,
But it was a big, huge learning process. And then I became the unhealthy vegan. The potato chips, the Belvita, the French fries, the bullshit. When I was selling health insurance was like the nastiest time in my life. Wasn't going to the gym, wasn't eating right, wasn't meal prepping because I was dialing 14 hours a day. Not 14, that's an exaggeration. 10 or 11 hours. Um, so I just sat there and ate kind bars and like whatever. And now much healthier. I eat fruits and vegetables all the time. Now I'm actually intermittent fasting, and I love it so much. Because I'm not focused on food all day. I have a lot more control. I'm not like running to my bag of granola and eating it like every 15 minutes. So for me, intermittent fasting has helped tremendously. I feel sharper in the morning. Um, my decisions are better. I definitely have more control with food. And like I feel like um Yeah, I just feel like it's the way. Like I feel like it's really healthy for your body. And if our bodies aren't all the time digesting food, we have more energy to start repairing our skin cells, our immune system, our, all of those things that don't get any love because we're always digesting food every 2 hours. So when
Mm-hmm.
I quit bodybuilding, my relationship with food, the veganism helped so much with my relationship with food because I would with bodybuilding, it was binging, right? It was like dialed in, perfect, and then as soon as the show was over, it was binge face, Oreos, fat in the off season until you prep again. And that was my own food immaturity. So this
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really something that I don't think every competitor does it, but when you start when you're 15, like if I started now, I would have a much different outlook, much more mindful, much more mature, but I was 22 doing shit. And so, it was the up and the down, and God, it feels so good to just be not on that roller coaster.
So controlled by food.
Oh my God. And just the up, like being dialed in and being good on your diet, and then the binging and the cheating on your diet, and the total yin and the
Yeah.
yang of food
Yeah.
is good.
But so do you think that like what do you contribute that to? Because I feel like it's almost because as soon as I stopped tracking, right, and measuring and weighing and obsessing, that alone is what gave me improved my relationship with food and my like intuitiveness. But what do you think contributed to you creating that better relationship? Because you say that it happened when you went vegan. So was it the lack of structure, or was it the difference in foods, or what was it?
It was definitely the difference in food. Because
Okay.
the shitty stuff that I wanted to go eat, I couldn't eat anymore because it wasn't vegan. And so it just helped me look at food so much differently. And I looked at food for like longevity and health. So that immediately changed my mind versus like muscular and lean. Like that was my diet before. Like what will help me keep the most amount of muscle and lose the most amount of body fat? That's what I want to do. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't even give a shit anymore. What is going to make me live a long time and feel really good morally to me?
Mm-hmm.
um and that's a personal, everybody has different morals and different things, and I don't want to put shame on anybody. um so but that was something that really helped me, was like, what am I doing? Why am I eating this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, love, real quick, I wanted to make sure you knew that I do have spots available in my one-on-one coaching program, the Fit Chick Academy. Now, what's awesome about working with me one-on-one is you get to take literally the fast track to looking lean without having to kill yourself in the gym or kitchen anymore. My one-on-one program includes direct 24/7 access to me, weekly calls to keep you focused and on track, and a complete nutrition, mindset, and workout program that is designed specifically to your needs and your personal preferences. Whether you feel like you've done it all or this is your first time working with a coach, I guarantee that my program is exactly what you've been looking for and will put all your past dieting experiences to shame. If you want to learn more and see if we'd be a good fit, all you got to do is reach out to me through email or through Instagram. Now back to the show.
And how has your body changed with that
um
change?
it well, okay, so I mean, obviously when I was tracking things, when I was competing, it was much different story.
Right. But that
When
was
I
living in an obsession, and that wasn't really a life that any of us want to live. I think we want it, but then we're trapped in it. So it sounds like, yeah, so you kind of went through a transition where you kind of like let loose, and now it seems like you've kind of tightened up. And so how did that, like, how, do you feel like you have a good structure on how to stay fit with this vegan diet?
Yeah, I do, and I find that it's a lot easier for me to keep weight off. But I don't know what it is, and maybe it was my mindset before, but when I was not competing actively, I was swollen up like a mosquito, or like I was just like my face was just like constantly swollen. My body, my skin, my belly, everything was just like inflamed.
Mhm.
And now it's much more subdued, it's much more even. Like, it's like, how your blood sugar does this with insulin and shit. I feel like everything is just like, there's no yo-yo, there's no real, like, could I tighten up more? Yes. And do I know how to do that? Yes. Eat, carrots and celery instead of granola and nuts all the time. I know, right? So it's like you learn these really cool things, but I find that, like, it's just more chill. I don't think about food all day long. I don't think about what bad food I can sneak in. um and I keep weight off. easier.
Yeah. No, and no more swings, which is probably what was creating all that swollenness, right? It was just such stress from deprive and trying to restrict and control, and then, letting, binging because you were depriving yourself for so long. And that, would you say that's what created that inflammation and that swelling?
Oh yeah,
Or
I'm sure. Just in the amount of food I was eating and and what I was eating
mhm,
was just not, and it's like a bunch of sugar, and then you get caught in this like
mhm,
sugar thing, and you need sugar all the time, and then you have to like get
mhm,
off sugar. It's like a drug, right? And then it's like it doesn't feel good after, but in the moment it's great. And so in the off season I would get in that, everyone's, because I didn't want to track anymore. I was like sick of it. And yeah, so like the yo-yo, I am incredible. I feel free. I feel free from
mhm,
food, and that is, and I feel peaceful in my heart about what I'm eating. So
mhm,
there's my two words, right? Freedom and peace is,
mhm.
yeah.
Was it hard to switch to that? Was it hard to just go all in vegan? It wasn't.
No, no, because it was something that I had been contemplating for a while, and there's so
Mm,
my reasons for it are so vast. There's like a billion of them. So there were so many reasons for me to not go back to meat.
mhm,
And the compassion thing, I was like, I couldn't hurt anything else to feed my body. So that made it, I was like, I'm going to figure it out. Like Fraser and I talked about it yesterday. We burned the ships. Like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to figure this out, whether bodybuilding goes or whether it doesn't. Compassion right now is more important to me than any trophy you could ever give me at this point, because
mhm,
I'd gotten there, and I'm like, all right, cool,
mhm,
what else is there, kind of thing. So yeah, so it was, I had a lot of people in my corner that I reached out to for information and for guidance. Um, and I was just like, this, I'm doing it. Like there's no plan B.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
When you switched from, like, when you got out of bodybuilding, did you deal with a lot of kind of just fear of what would happen to your body? And I mean, because that's pretty extreme for you to live in the gym for 15 years and then just turn it off. Like, how did you fill that time? Because you were spending hours in the gym every day.
Yeah.
So what did you do to keep your sanity?
Well, so when we quit, we went and did health insurance. And
Right.
that
Okay.
was, we were at the office at 8 a.m. and we didn't leave sometimes till 8 p.m. And we were just in this shark mentality, and it was the worst time of my life. It taught me very, very huge lessons. But that's what we were doing, and it was just a very unhealthy switch for me. And it felt good to be working. Like, in a way, it felt good to be working and like actively trying to make money and do this new part of my life versus just trying to get trophies and post on Instagram. Like, it was a really nice switch for a while, but it was a very unhealthy environment for me to be in, and it wasn't really conducive to training or eating healthy. So unfortunately, I spent my time selling health insurance.
Mhm, mhm,
Ugh. But I did it with a lot of my like really good friends. Like, a lot of my husband, he quit his job, did it with me. Um, and I was around some of my really good friends from bodybuilding. So I was like, all right, I'm still around my people, but we're just going to make some money now. And I just couldn't handle being a telemarketer. And so I was um, in a really bad spot, like just eating all the time, kind of doing drugs here and there, smoking weed, just not even being truly in the health insurance. And I think there was also a bit of a depression that was going on.
mhm,
So
mhm,
it was a really hard time for me to, like, I flipped my whole life upside down. Like, quit bodybuilding, got married, changed everything I ate, changed my occupation, moved cities, and now I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing at all, or who I am. Like, what's my last name? I don't. So it
mhm,
was a very extremely confusing time in my life. Yeah, just floundering, just like, who
mhm,
am I
mhm,
without this stage?
mhm. And then, is that when you found yoga and you did the psychedelic trip?
Yeah, well, the psychedelic trip happened before health insurance.
Mm,
And then
mhm,
during health insurance, I tripped a bunch more just because I hated
mhm,
everything I was doing. But I'm so glad that I did do those trips, and I don't say it like I was partying. I was really soul searching. Like I was really deeply searching for something that I had lost with bodybuilding, and I found it. Like there was a time that I met my spirit, I met my intuition, I call it my spirit self. And before my spirit self was Little Monster, it was this girl on stage. It was this badass bitch like that was doing all this stuff. And like without her, I was just like this shell. And so when I did a couple trips, like I found myself. Like I was just like, no matter where I go, there I am. No matter what occupation or what stage or what sport I do, there's something within me that I found that is a constant. And God, that was the biggest. I'm so thankful for that experience, because without that, like, I don't know, like it gave me courage, it gave me strength at a time where I was like, just like I said, like the shell of the past, kind of. Yeah. I don't even know if that answered your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool to hear. I've had other speakers on here that have talked about how, I don't know if it was mushrooms or what, but that sort of brought them, brought them to another space to make them think of, things differently and open up a whole new light, a different way of thinking. And I'm actually curious, you post a lot about meditating and stuff like that. Were you already meditating prior to all of this, or did this sort of spur that interest?
So good question about meditation. I was introduced to it for bodybuilding, because I wanted to be the best bodybuilder. So training my mind was just as important as training my body. I knew that like inherently. And I started to visualize before I even knew what visualization was. I would be on the stepper, closing my eyes, listening to my posing routine, seeing the whole thing play out. And then as I started to understand visualization and meditation, I started to visualize myself winning, visualize my acceptance speech, visualize, like I would bring myself to tears in my closet visualizing, and I would physically feel myself dropping to my knees, covering my face at winning the Olympia. Bodybuilding was like my training for that. And then I started to, understand the importance of meditation. And during an off season, meditation came back because I have thoracic outlet syndrome. So, my I think like 9% of girls have it, but basically a couple nerves go over like my first rib or something. And when I have all the muscle on and all of the off season weight, it literally compresses my nerves. So my hands were like, I mean, when I say excruciating pain, I could not sleep at night laying down. I had to sleep in a chair sitting up like this, because when I laid down, my body fluid would shift and it would cause like, couldn't even open my hands, And so I found meditation again because I could not sleep at night. So I was sitting up in a chair, and that was the only way that I knew how to recharge my brain. And then I lost meditation for a while after bodybuilding, didn't do it anymore. Health insurance didn't do it at the time where I probably needed it the most. I didn't do it. I was just like being an asshole in every aspect of my life. And but then I moved here, and everything needed to change. I was starting all over. We needed money. We had no jobs. Like I needed to be a different person. And Colorado kind of brings that out of you. The vibration here is very progressive and peaceful, and people care about what's going on inside and outside. So I was just encouraged by this vibration to keep meditating. And what's beautiful is now I am more devoted to my practice than I have ever been in my life. And there's no show, there's no pain to try to alleviate. There's nothing but me wanting to deepen my practice and become a better me for myself, for my business, and for everybody that I'm serving. Like I find that if I'm firing on all cylinders, I will vibrate out to the people, my clients, and they will want to meditate. So, and now I keep it, and now I am religious about my meditation now, more so than I've ever have been. And it's so amazing to be in this spot now with no show and no pain. And it's like my thing. It's my thing. I want to teach people. I want
It's my thing too.
I know, and that's why I'm so excited that, like, when I see you post your pictures of you meditating outside, it gets me so excited, because it's like, if you're working with me, like as a client, you will be meditating, or we're not right for each other. And I will nag you about it if I know you're not. Because I just believe it's the way. Like it's one of the ways, as much as exercise is.
The way to what?
Peace, clarity, all of the things that we search for maybe in our bodies and in our external world, I find that we can find within ourselves first, like
Mhm.
happiness, peace, abundance, bliss, joy, clarity. All of that can be found within a silent space within each and every one of us. And once you realize that, you don't need a fit body to get you there. You don't need a bunch of money to make you feel abundant. You don't need all of these things because it's already. And I think once you realize that it's within you, the you attract that, you attract a clear career that you want to do, and you attract the right people in your life, like I feel like part of me like I attracted you in a way to like be, and and like this is such a cool relationship we have, um and how it's led me just forward. So I find that, yeah, what we search for in the exterior world, in the gyms, on stages, in competitions, even in like wanting to look a certain way and have a certain body, like I just hope that people find that before they get the body that they think they want,
Mhm.
because it's
Or
never the
Mhm.
means. Yeah.
Yeah, or you get there and you're still like empty. It's like, this isn't good enough. It's got to be better, or I got to win again, or it's just this constant striving, trying to fill this thing of ultimate happiness. Yeah, and it's just so funny. You're right. It's like it's everything that we're looking for. And it sounds so cliche. I feel like I've heard this my entire life, and I never understood it. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just a hard worker. I'm just going to keep working hard. But yeah, I think once I found meditation, or I call it inner training,
Hmm.
um, that's when I realized that like this entire time, like I could have just, I mean, everything would have been so much more easier, so much more fun. And when you feel at peace and you feel this freedom within you, the fit body just comes naturally. I think that when you have that sense of peace, you're all of a sudden like not really as controlled by food. Would you like, because
Yes.
you work with, so actually you tell me, because I know you work with a lot of bodybuilders. So tell me how the meditation has helped them and their relationship with food, or like what are the biggest impacts that meditation has on them, on your
On my
clients?
conscious, on my, okay. Well, so I have two types of clients now, which is really exciting for me. So I have my Conscious Champions, my course that I built with Nicole, and that's all bodybuilders. And what I love is that I'm getting them and I'm helping them connect the mind, body, and spirit as it pertains to bodybuilding. So I'm helping them meditate and helping them visualize. And I took them through the Deepak Chopra meditation challenge, and they are like, oh my gosh, like I'm seeing abundance everywhere. I'm feeling so much more calm. I didn't react as, as much as I thought I would at this, or I'm much more controlled in my thoughts. And then the other type of client I have is my life coach clients. So these guys are actually, I would say a little more, they don't have anything to shoot for. They
Mhm.
don't know, they don't have a goal or a show in mind. So it, those kind of clients, I find that it helps them get connected to themselves, and a lot of them are disconnected from themselves, from spirit, from clarity, from like what do they actually want in their life. So a lot of my clients are like, I don't even like my job. They're like, how do I get this? Or like, I love it, like sometimes I'll get voice messages from them, and I'll tell right after some of them have meditated, and they're like, hey Dani, I just meditated. And I'm like, I can tell before they even tell me. But I
Yeah.
love the peace and the calm, and everything is just slowed down, and what's important is this moment. And I
Mhm.
can hear it in their voice because they're not spazzy and off in the other room, or they're not like worried about their to-do list or what happened at work today. It's like, it's just about the meditation and what came out of it. And so it's like giving giving the gift to yourself.
Mhm. Yeah. 100%.
Okay, I know
Okay.
that's a weird way to put it.
No, all this stuff is weird when you don't know it. It's all weird, right? And that's
Yeah.
the hard part. And it's just that we know that this is what people need. This is what people are searching for. To me, I think it's what will solve a lot of people's problems with trying to, just look good, feel good, right? But you know, a lot of people probably watching this show maybe have tried meditating and they're just like, it's not for me. They try it and they're like, I can't do it. 5 minutes, no way. They start freaking out. Heck, man, my clients, when I tell them to go for a walk instead of go for a workout, they can barely go for a walk. Like they are just, their mind is just like, what am I doing? I should be working out. This is stupid. So what do you say to those? I'm sure your kind of clients are just like that. They're very controlled. Bodybuilders have everything in control.
Yeah.
So is that a common thing,
Um, yeah, I find that at first they don't maybe get it. Like they don't get it because it's not like a hard kick your ass 2-hour workout. It doesn't seem like there's going to be results that come from this, because some of them are like, I'm used to eating clean all day and training for 3 hours in the gym, and that got me the results and where I was before. So how are you going to tell me going for a walk and being silent is going to get me where I want to go? So there's like this disconnect. But they don't actually want to be in the gym 3 hours. They don't actually want to be taking performance enhancing drugs. They don't want that lifestyle, but they want the results, and they don't believe that they can get the same results without having to live that lifestyle. But I find that when sometimes even making them sit there and meditate is a tougher discipline than having them get on the stair stepper machine or going outside and going for a mindful walk, which is just as beneficial, maybe in a different way. Like a meditative walk, the Chinese coined this term forest bathing, and there's an actual vibration to nature. It's a very extremely high vibration, and it's unconditional love, period. Like all it does is grow, right? Like this green is the heart chakra. So all it does is grow. And when you get outside in that vibration, you can't help but slow down and look at what's important and feel the unconditional love. And I believe that we come from nature. I believe that we are made up as the same things as nature is. So when we go outside in nature, we can't help but feel good because we are that. That's our mother, Earth. So like we can't help but feel good but be around her. So I think nature is a cure for everything.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people almost need to just be given permission to slow down. We feel like the bar is set so high that it's always just got to go harder, work longer, and if there's any downtime, you must have that downtime filled with something. And so it's really powerful because a lot of people won't do it there on themselves, for themselves. It feels too foreign. It feels shameful, feels wrong to do when you've been living so hard for so long. And so what do you actually kind of start your clients off with doing? Is it a walk, or do you first start them off with like a 5-minute meditation?
Well, I guess it depends on where they're currently at. So a lot of my clients are not currently meditating. So that's it, and it's part of the whole deal. So like one of my clients, he doesn't have a gym membership, but he goes to hot yoga, and that's his thing right now. And like he does want to get back into the gym, but he's been loving going to hot yoga. And like I'm not gonna change that because his everything is getting worked on right now. His mind, body, and spirit, and he's so cute about it. I love him, and so that makes me happy because maybe going into the gym would give him a different feeling, and that's not what he needs right now. And really, I think it's just meeting my clients where they are. Because at first I had a client who wanted to be on a workout regimen. She's like, I want to lose weight, get back into my body. I just got done with surgery. I want to like get back. And that was actually causing like a neurotic thing where she would work out and feel like, it had to be balls to the wall. It had to be like CrossFit style workout. And she was actually getting injured and her weight was not budging. So like with her, I'm like, you're going outside for walks and you're doing yoga. And she's like, okay. And cardio, 30 minutes of cardio, but like, I don't want you to get into that lifting mentality because it takes her mind somewhere else. So it's really dependent on where they are. Or like one of my clients, he wanted to start meditating, and that was like the big game changer for him. Like he had worked out before, so he got back into the gym. I wrote him workouts. I helped him get his nutrition on track. Great. But the meditation for him was the game changer. And like it helped him with discipline, which helped them get up early and go to the gym in the morning, not at night. And so the meditation for everybody, it just seems to cascade over into
Mm-hmm.
every area of their life. And then I really just direct them to what is going to make you feel good. Like
Yeah.
if working out and killing it in the gym is going to send you into a neurotic spin, then we're not going to go to the gym for a month. We're going to go do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's tough because sometimes the clients want results. They want to see the scale drop. They want to see their clothes fit different. And like in that, wanting to see that change, it doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
In the wanting the numbers so badly, you're actually repelling yourself from the numbers. And that's an even harder thing to get my clients to see,
Yeah.
because we're so, we love the numbers. So it's even been a discipline and even more helpful for us to not weigh in.
Yeah. I do that too. Yeah.
And
100%.
and we have time, by the way. I canceled my
Okay.
client. Um, so I also want to talk about the masculine and the feminine. So because in between, like, okay, so like when we're working out in the gym and we're following a diet plan, like that's the divine masculine, and everything, even the blade of grass outside has a divine masculine and divine feminine, the yin and yang of everything. So when we're following a plan and when we're weighing out everything and when we're weighing in every week and when we're following a structured workout, that's our divine masculine, very system structure oriented. When we're going outside and going for a walk and doing things that we love for pleasure, that's the divine feminine. And what I find is that some of my clients are so much in their divine masculine, which is not bad. It's a good thing. But bring in the divine feminine to harmonize the two. So, follow your daily plan, but it doesn't need to be 30 minutes on the stepper at a level 15. It doesn't need to be like that. It,
So
it could be
rigid.
something else. So rigid.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so with my clients, I'm seeing where they are in their balance. And do they need a little bit more structure and they need a little bit of a plan to follow? Are they too
Mm-hmm.
airy-fairy and off just walking outside and not doing anything?
Mm-hmm.
Or, so for me, I also look at the balance and where they are and what do they need to harmonize their current
Mm-hmm.
state.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it, I think, is really, like you said, it's about feeling good. If you follow your heart in what feels good, it doesn't mean you should. I'm not saying we shouldn't work out or anything like that. I work out all the time, but I've stopped being so rigid, with reps and times and intensity and pace. And I just say, fuck the fucking score and reps and all that. Like, and I just want to do what feels good, and whatever is natural at that moment will come out. And I think that's where we not only stay more consistent, but that's when we start seeing results and we enjoy it. But you do need some other outlet. You need some other coach like yourself that is, helping you branch out into other areas to explore more, because it's really hard for us to get out of our own way, like our own habits. And yeah, that's huge. That's good. We need people like that rather than just staying inside our box. Yeah.
Yes. My one of my clients, she kind of thought she was like, so I had to like tell her I'm not a nutrition coach. Like I don't want to help you count your P's and your carbs. So for me as a coach, like ha- hate is a strong word, but I really, really don't like nutrition coaching because it's not what I am practicing myself. And it's actually really hard for me to tell people to eat chicken when I don't believe in that. So but she's like, wow, this is just really, so we're diving deep into like herself and why are you so attached to the number. So we're going under the nutrition, under the training, under the body image issues. So we're diving in there deep. And she's like, damn, man, I thought I signed up for a nutrition program. And I'm like, not with me. I'm going deep. And like, I will help you with healthy habits. Like I like doing the healthy habit thing, and helping a little bit with workouts, but I'm not a macro counter because that's not something that's sustainable. Are you going to be counting macros for the next 50 years of your life? Like, hopefully not. Hopefully that's not something that you do because God, that's just like not sustainable. Like what a waste of time and brain power.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a time and place for it, for sure.
Totally.
But forever, yeah, unnecessary. And so what do you recommend? How do you give people balance with getting results like with food, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, while staying, you know, not counting and obsessing. So what do you usually recommend for them to start seeing results with that?
So I guess first just start, like, first I look at where they are now. I'm like, whatever you're eating, send it to me right now so I can see what we need to fix. So first I start fixing what's wrong with their diet, because I don't want to change it too much on them and have them like need the plan to follow. So first I start just taking out some things that are maybe just like not great, not helpful, like fatty sausage, or, you know, things that are just like, why it's not doing anything. Um, and then start adding in better stuff, and then we kind of go from there. So then after that, we're looking at, okay, so like, is this working for you? Like, if is the weight going down? A snack might be like an apple in a protein shake, or so I, wherever they are, like if they're like, hey, I want to try intermittent fasting, all right, cool, let's do that. But when your eating window is going to be healthy choices, it's not going to be just, you know, bullshit for 8 hours. So yeah, so it's that. And like, you know, some people lose more weight because they're not actually focused on it. Like they drop 14 pounds and they're like, oh my God, I didn't even see that. Like I knew my clothes were fitting different. But then the ones who are wanting to adopt healthy habits and still weigh in and measure themselves every week, it's kind of like mentally combating them, I feel. So I go like, how do you feel? Like, do you feel better in your body? How's your digestion? How's your sleep? How's your skin? How are the other things? Um, and then if it's like, okay, so then we kind of get like the healthy base going. And then they're like, all right, I want to lose a couple pounds. And then I'll start to look maybe a little bit more heavily at the macros and where everything is split up, and be like, all right, so let's switch this here, and let's set up a day that looks something like this. And you know, maybe at first I'll have them weigh stuff just so they can see portions, because sometimes they have a problem with portion control. So I'll kind of weigh stuff, and just so they can get an idea of what a plate looks like in this area. Um, so yeah, and see, a lot of my clients, they come to me for, I guess it seems like a more spiritual connection. That's what they're like needing more so than even like nutrition stuff. Like that's some of it. People think they need nutrition stuff, but they actually need mindset stuff. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll just do probably like two more questions. So I'm just kind of curious, what is important to you now that it's not winning? Like what fulfills you now?
Presence. Service. Oh my God, service is my word right now. I love this idea of serving the people. Um, and I learned this a couple months ago when people were like asking me, when I started my Conscious Champion course for bodybuilders, and they're like, do you miss competing? And you know, I miss things about competing. I miss being on stage. I miss being in the moment, and seeing myself accomplish like just the great things that I had in my heart. But right now I'm serving and I'm helping other people accomplish their great things. And that is just amazing, to be there for everybody right now. And if I was competing, I'm there for myself, period. Because everything, competing at a high level, you know how it goes. Like you're just tunnel vision. That is what matters. So right now, all of my energy is being put into my clients and my courses and my people, and that has been really exciting to turn the script a little bit. It's like, it's not all about me and my trophies. And I competed very humbly. I wasn't like a conceited, like, hey, look at me type person, but my energy is directed at other people now. And that is really exciting. And that helps me not miss the stage, because I know what it takes to get on that stage. And I can't do both. So service is very exciting, and my own freedom. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, final question. Actually, yeah, final question. I might ask you two questions about food. So, so really kind of well, I guess we'll go into the food real quick. Do you have a favorite low calorie treat? Do you even, or maybe even when you were bodybuilding, maybe it's not even now, you know, because as a bodybuilder, you had the low calorie stuff down, you know, you were like a pro at that stuff.
Yeah. Like all the weird little concoctions.
Right.
God, I love rice cakes. I loved them then. I love them now. I like the crunch. I love that it's like 7 grams of carbs per cake. Oh my God, I'll put peanut butter, like a light layer of peanut butter and some applesauce. Freaking money. Like that cold applesauce is really good. what else do I like to munch on? I mean, I like nuts and granola, like trail mix, but that's not, I don't
That's
know that
high.
that's super low calorie, but
Yeah.
I love that.
Me too.
Dangerous.
Hmm.
But that's
Okay.
healthy. It's like, mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Then how about like a high, like anything goes, favorite food?
God, I don't, maybe trail mix.
Oh, okay. That would probably be one of my number ones, like a trail mix, like a really delicious, like chocolate, sweet and salty trail mix.
Yes, like I'll go and make my own. Like I have a big Tupperware and I'll get like a bag of granola, I'll get some pumpkin seeds, some
Oh,
sunflower seeds, and then I'll get like the raisin, craisin, cashew, almond. And then I bring those home and I make a big Tupperware of it, and I just
yeah,
love it.
so good. Yeah, I got a
And
thing
there's
for
a lot
trail
of
mix.
protein. There's fat in there. I get some with dark chocolate,
Hmm.
and that's my thing. I could eat
Yeah,
that all day.
I could eat that all day too. Yeah,
Yeah.
dangerous. Okay. So what would you say for all the listeners out there, what is your number one piece of advice um, to, having the body that you want, like feeling good, looking good, but really having this idea of balance that we're talking about. So looking good, but feeling good, not feeling like I have to spend hours in the gym. What do you feel like is the number one piece of advice to obtaining that? Or actually, let's just say, what's the first step? What is the number one step that you would recommend they need to make in order to find that?
Meditate.
Meditate.
It's my
Okay,
freaking
cool.
answer for everything. But
Yeah.
really start to build and cultivate that from the inside out. If you start to build health and wellness and fitness, like you say, inner training from the inside out, your outside will be so much more fulfilling, and it'll be so much more of what you actually want, and it'll stick.
Hmm.
It'll be sustainable. It won't just come and go.
Yes, and that is why diets just don't really do the job, right? I mean, it's just everybody's so focused on the outside things, and instead of really taking care of the inside and finding that peace within yourself. Yeah, cool. Awesome, Dani. That has been an awesome show. Thank you so much. Where can people find more of you? Where can they follow you?
Oh, okay. So, well, thank you very, very much for having me on. This was
You
amazing, and
bet.
I love these questions. It's so fun to talk about, and I hope that your listeners liked it. So, where they can find me is on Instagram, and it's at Lightside. So, and that's what it is on YouTube and Facebook as well. And it's Lightside is LIGHTPSYDE. Um, and yeah, so that's YouTube. And I have a podcast that's on YouTube, and you can also find Lightside Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, all of the things there. And if you want to just email me, Dani@lightside.com.
Cool.
Let's
Awesome.
talk.
Awesome. Well, there you go, guys. Check her out. Dani, thank you so much. It's been so much fun. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Yes. Peace.